Thursday morning to all of you. This is EastLake Live, 30 minutes of information and
inspiration
for the Smith Mountain Lake community and the entire
cosmos.
The
entire cosmos.
We started this for Smith Mountain Lake. Somebody told me yesterday, family in Indiana and Missouri,
Michigan,
someone in Arizona.
Yep.
So we don't even know.
Colorado.
We hope to bring encouragement to you during this COVID-19 pandemic time where all of us are faced with a whole list of unique challenges and a change in the way of our life. And we're here to tell you that we're going to get through this, and we're going to walk through it together. And God's going to help us. So we're blessed to be with you today. Welcome to the Thursday edition. Ben, tomorrow we will have completed 5 weeks of something that 6 weeks ago we had never thought of.
Who would have thought it? It's insane.
It's incredible, but we've had a great time. Yesterday we talked a lot on the show about where this goes next, so we're going to be talking about that a little bit later. We've got a great show scheduled for you today. Yeah. We just ask you to, if you would, go to the bottom of your screen and share this video. Tell your friends and neighbors to turn on EastLake Live.
Speaking of sharing, we have another giveaway today.
A
giveaway yet again today. And again, part of being eligible is to share the video. So just go ahead and hit the button right now and make yourself eligible. But we're going to be talking today with Dr. Bill Roper, former head of the CDC. And so we want our giveaway to be around the medical community. And so instead of doing a trivia question, instead of asking if you remember the best guest on EastLake Live in our history, we just want you to nominate your healthcare hero.
Yes.
And we want you to tell us why they are a healthcare hero. And we know there are tons of them out there, and so we're going to do our very best to just pick one. And what we got is we got a $50 Food Lion gift card today, along with an EastLake mug, similar to the one that Pastor Troy is drinking out of this morning.
Yes, so if you nominate your healthcare hero, what we'd like to do is give that healthcare hero the $50 Food Lion gift card. Now, if they live out of this area, they don't have Food Lion, you let us know. We can make it work. Kroger's in a lot of places. We'll find a way to get them $50 in groceries, wherever they may be.
Right. So to clarify, you're not eligible because you nominated somebody. We're nominating people who are eligible.
And we're going to give it to them.
Give it to them, not to you.
So today on the show, we're going to hear from John Weems, a quadriplegic who is an incredible musician and wrote a song entitled "We're All in This Together." You're going to want to see that coming up later in the show. But our main guest today, and we're so privileged to have with us, Dr. Bill Roper, and we're going to come and speak to him right after this 30-second break. We'll be right back. The coffee shop is open, by the way. It opened on Tuesday, and that is a great establishment. I have a friend named Pete Brunstetter who we have breakfast most every week. He's a great encouragement to me. I try to return the favor. And Pete works for the university system down in North Carolina, and he has introduced us to Dr. Bill Roper, who is the interim president of the University of North Carolina system. He's also former head of the CDC, director of the dean of School of Public Health at UNC, and last year was named one of the 100 most influential people in healthcare. And so Dr. Bill Roper is with us. Bill, welcome to EastLake Live.
Thank you, Troy. Thank you, Ben. Nice to be with you this morning.
Yes, and actually this whole pandemic has been right in your wheelhouse in the sense of medicine and education, and you now are working with the university system down there. So just an overview, could you just begin by helping us as a average layperson understand this COVID-19? We, by the way, we've all become experts, haven't we? Everybody on social media is an expert, but you actually are an expert. So what are we talking about when we say COVID-19?
So people know what viruses are, and every year we get many viral infections, whether common cold or the flu or whatever. So this is a virus like that, but it's a new coronavirus. There have been some other coronaviruses around for decades, but this is a new one. That's why it's been called a novel coronavirus. That's just a fancy way of saying it's a new one. And what we've come to realize is it spreads more rapidly and is more lethal. That is, it causes more serious illness and death than previous viruses like this. The main thing I'd say in summary is this is real. There's been a variety of people, private citizens or public leaders who've tried to say this is a hoax, this is made up, this is not. And I just would say as strongly as I can, this is real, folks, and it's something to take really seriously.
Wow. Thank you.
So can you help us understand where we are in the journey towards recovery?
Yeah.
I know it's,
So we're seeing growing numbers of cases, hospitalizations, ICU hospitalizations, and deaths. But we're beginning to see a slowing, not a decline yet, but a slowing of the rate of increase, which is an encouraging thing. And that's why a number of people are, for obvious reasons, saying, well, maybe it's time to sort of steer us back towards a normal situation. I think it's perfectly understandable that folks are asking those kind of questions, but it's not quite time, I think, to just flip the switch and go back to life before coronavirus. In fact, somebody has said we're going to look back in time and date ourselves as things that were BC, that is before COVID-19, and AC after COVID-19. And it's going to take a while to get back towards, quote, normal.
Wow, that's interesting. So you're also obviously in the world of education. I guess
Yeah.
how many universities are in that system? Is there 16? Or?
There's 16 universities and a STEM high school, School of Science and Math. We're all across the state of North Carolina. The oldest is UNC Chapel Hill, where they play basketball, you may have heard.
I've heard of them.
Then there are schools in Raleigh and Wilmington and Asheville and all over the state.
So this has obviously dramatically changed the world of education in the immediate, just in the moment. And I just wanted to know what your thoughts are. How do you think this changes education going forward?
Well, I think we're always going to want to and need to educate people for meaningful lives and civic involvement and to be the kind of citizens that we want them to be. One of the things that we have learned, though, in this dramatic, quick transition to online teaching of classes is we can do this. Not that we've done it perfectly or everything is hunky-dory, but we really did make the transition to almost entirely online teaching in a matter of just 2 or 3 weeks. And so I think that's one thing that's going to change whatever the new normal is. I think we're going to make much greater use of computer-based or online learning than we have in the past. I think we're also going to be asking, are there more efficient ways of delivering what college education or graduate school produces? We are in the midst of trying to deal with the current environment and at the same time asking ourselves the very question you posed to me. That is, what are we learning today that we can apply months from now, years from now, that will have a lasting impact for the better?
Yeah, it's from our church perspective, we've talked about this. It's changed shopping. The internet has forever changed shopping and has for some time, but education, and we're even asking that in the world of church and worship. Not that I think there's real value in human-to-human interaction, because God said it's not good that man should be alone, And so I think I've jokingly said over the past few years, boy, I sure hope my brain surgeon didn't get his total degree online. I hope he figured out somewhere along to put his hands on a human being. But with that said, I think we all are learning how to do this
Yeah.
And it is changing all of the facets of society.
Our church is doing the same live streaming of services every Sunday and other times midweek and so on. But your point is a good one, and that is there's something just indispensable about actually being physically with people. And yet at the same time, we are building community, not just within church communities, but community more broadly. And one of the most hopeful, good news things that I can see in all of this is regular people out across America, and I'm sure in the Smith Mountain community as well, are reaching out, checking with people, making sure they got what they need and that they are doing okay, bringing food over to them or helping them in a variety of other ways. That is such an important part of what it means as a community broadly, or surely as a Christian community, to help others. And I hope we make this transition from saving people from the coronavirus to serving people in the ongoing time period, not just for the virus and the recovery, but just in general. I would like to believe that we can be done with some of this crazy, I think, polarization of American society and get back to being neighbors and answering the question, who is my neighbor? It's whoever needs your help is your neighbor.
Yeah, that is such a good word, because I read this morning in Romans 13, it says all the commandments are summed up in love your neighbor as yourself. Don't kill, don't steal, don't covet, all of those. And one of the things we've tried to do in this show is to tell people, if we'll trust the Lord and help our neighbor, we'll get through this. And it is brought out some really cool things in that regard.
Yeah. So looking forward, obviously, there are a lot of changes that are happening. Do you have any word of advice for the average Joe as we navigate going forward through the remainder of this crisis and then on beyond that?
Yeah. So good question, Ben. I hope we can restore some of people's faith in experts. Troy, you called me an expert at the beginning. I'm not sure that's valid for Bill Roper, but nonetheless, I've spent 40 plus years doing this kind of thing. And yet folks seem to dismiss that kind of out of hand and say, well, I saw something on TV yesterday and it must be true. Come on, guys. We need to be serious about building trust in American society and not be prisoner to the latest rumor or a fraudulent thing that's been put out there to try to get our attention. The people who are working and who have been working for decades trying to deal with viruses and public health and how to track and prevent disease in populations are trying to be helpful to us, and we ought to put our faith, to the extent we put our faith in people at all, we ought to put our faith in folks who have demonstrated over time that kind of track record.
That's really, really good advice. Let me just one more question, if I could, and we're going to let you go. But you were head of the CDC several years ago, and the thought just crossed my mind as we're talking. And you've been doing this for a long time. What was there anything? What was the most interesting public health issue at the CDC in your time there?
There are a variety of things that came to the front, but I think the most pressing one at the time, which was in the early 90s, was the HIV/AIDS epidemic and all that was going on then and has continued to be a big issue. Infectious diseases are a challenge. We thought we had dealt with them all back in the 70s when we had pretty widespread immunization, but clearly we haven't moved past it altogether as this current thing makes clear.
Wow. Well, it's interesting. I grew up in Indiana, and once, and all of this was starting with the AIDS. I was acquainted with Ryan White, that young boy that was infected with that, and so actually had met him on a couple different occasions. But Dr. Bill Roper, we thank you so much for the time this morning. What a blessing it is. And we thank Pete Brunstetter, our friend, for making the connection. And we look forward to talking to you again soon. May God bless you.
Well, thank you. If I could just add one thing.
Yes.
Read Esther chapter 4, verse 14. It talks about people being put in positions for times like these. That's what I feel, and I'm sure you do as well. This is an opportunity to serve other people.
Absolutely. That's so true. Thank you so much for that. God bless you.
Same here.
All right. What a privilege this morning to have with us Dr. Bill Roper, truly an expert. Unlike some of us and some of the videos that we show, what a blessing it is to have him. Well, hey, like we always say, if you're on this show, you either are somebody or you're getting ready to be somebody. And I have to feel like he's in the category of already is somebody.
I think he's already done that. Been there, done that.
He has been there.
Has the T-shirt for it. But you know what? I have to admit though, I still need some clarity when it comes to what I'm supposed to do right now.
What are the rules? You know what we forgot to ask is what are the rules for us during quarantine?
I mean, is the 6 foot thing real? Because we're like 3 foot here.
Yeah, but we're in the same buddy system, aren't we? Like
that,
once you get
okay?
we have each other's DNA.
And I touch my face all over the show. I'm sure I do.
Oh, we just touched our face, and I'm sitting there going, "That's interesting." To this guy, he's probably going to turn me in.
Yeah.
But anyways, what a blessing! Thank you, Pete Brunstetter.
Yeah.
For hooking us
amazing.
up with that. So, do
Amazing.
you know what are the? We need the practical
What
rules
are
for the
the
average
rules?
person. What are they?
Yeah. Well, I don't know them, but I know that many of you have seen this video that I think will clarify it for us just a little bit. So check out our news correspondent. I don't know her name, but she's got some great rules for us.
Yeah, I really don't understand why everybody isn't following the same rules right now. They're very clear, so let's take a minute and let's go over them again. First, you must not leave the house for any reason, unless of course you have a reason, and then you may leave the house. All stores are closed except those that are open, and all stores must close unless of course they need to stay open. This virus is deadly, but don't be afraid of it. It can only kill people who are vulnerable and also those who are not vulnerable. We should stay locked down until the virus stops infecting people. And it will only stop infecting people if enough of us get infected that we build immunity. So it is very important that we get infected and also do not get infected. You should not go to the doctor's office or the hospital unless you have to go there. Unless, of course, you are too sick to go there. This virus has no effect on children except for those children in which it affects. The virus remains active on different surfaces for 2 hours or 4 hours or 6 hours, but in most cases it's days and not hours, and it needs a damp environment or a cold environment that is warm and dry in the air, unless the air is plastic. Schools are closed, so you need to homeschool your children unless you can send them to school because you are not home. If you are at home, you can school your children using various portals and online classrooms unless you have poor internet, more than one child, only one computer, or you are working from home. Baking cakes can be considered math, science, or art. If you are home educating, you can include household chores within their education curriculum. And if you are home educating, you may start drinking at approximately 10 a.m. every day. If you are not home educating children, you may also start drinking at approximately 10 a.m. Masks are useless at protecting you against the virus, but you still need to wear one because it can save lives. And in some cases, it may even be mandatory, but also maybe not. You must not go to work, but you can get another job, at which point you may go to work. Stay home. I don't know how many more celebrities we need to have tell you how important it is to go outside and take care of your mental health. There is no shortage of groceries in the supermarket. There are simply many things missing. You don't need to go buy a bunch of toilet paper, but you should buy some in case you need it. If you are sick, you may go out once you are better, but those in your household, they cannot go out once you are better unless, of course, they need to go out. Animals are not affected by the virus, except for that cat that tested positive in Belgium in February, plus a couple tigers. The number of corona-related deaths will be announced daily, but we don't know how many people are infected because we were only testing those who are almost dead to determine if that's what they will die of. The people who die of corona who are not counted won't or will be counted, but maybe not. To help protect yourself during these times, you should be eating well and exercising, but exercising only eating what you have at home to avoid going to the stores unless you need toilet paper or a fence panel. It's important to get fresh air, but don't go to parks, but do go walk in other places. Just don't sit down unless you are old or pregnant But if you do sit down, don't sit for too long. Unless you are old and you are pregnant, in which case you need to sit down. But if you do sit down, don't eat unless you've had a long walk, which you are allowed to do if you are old or pregnant, except for times in which you aren't. Don't visit old people. But you have a moral obligation to take care of old people and bring them food and medicine. And finally, no businesses will go down due to coronavirus except those businesses that go down due to COVID-19. I hope this cleared up any questions about what we should and should not be doing during this time. Please educate your friends and family with this information so we can remove any and all confusion surrounding this time. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Between that girl and the great physician, we figured out the rules.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. So, man, this has been a
today.
day, hasn't it? This has been
Yeah.
quite a day. Let me ask you a question, Ben. Was that a lot of pressure?
That was a lot of pressure. It was very nerve-wracking. I was afraid I was going to mess up the questions, and most of the guys that we've interviewed, I haven't felt that way.
Yeah. No offense to all of our guests, but
I guess PhDs, or
Yeah.
doctorates or whatever. he's got.
So most of our guests haven't put that much pressure on us, and he was such an easy interview, and such a great
he's
guy to
super
talk
nice.
to off the air. Thank you again, Pete. But yeah, I have to lie. I ain't gonna lie. That's a lot of pressure right there.
Yeah.
Talking to one of the 100 most influential healthcare people in the world.
Yeah.
How did we get him on this show, by the way? We have Pete
Connections.
Brunstad.
It's not what you know,
Pete,
it's who you know.
We're going to jump in the lake, and we want to know if maybe you want to quartet that with us. 3. All right,
Hey,
Ben.
we are going to do that.
We are going to do that at some point.
Yep.
When they reach 1 million recoveries, we're going. What's on the agenda, Ben?
The agenda. Well, we got lots of things that we could talk about. We last night I just touched my face. Yeah, I was just realizing that. I hope we didn't do that when we were talking to Dr. Roper.
I wonder if he worried about when I went, oh.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so last night we had the opportunity to see many of not just EastLake people, but I saw some other people
They
from
were
the
East Lake
community
people.
Okay, they were okay.
I assume.
It's just been a long time, huh?
It's been so long.
It's been a long
Ben
time.
forgot some of you. I knew every
Yeah.
one of his names.
So last night we had like the EastLake Country Safari. We had a giraffe. What is it? A zorse.
A
zorse.
A giraffe.
And a Christian camel.
Yeah.
And anyway, the kids were loving that, and I was sitting there singing some songs. I had some crazy requests.
What was the craziest song? So we did a drive-through here last night. We had 600 or so people that drove through here last night. We had the animal park. Ben had a guitar. He would sing for people. My wife and I were meeting and just greeting people, praying for them. What was the craziest song you sang last night?
Baby Shark.
Baby Shark, Baby Shark. How's that go? I don't know.
Baby Shark, do 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 do. Had to sing that a bit. Somebody asked for "We Will Rock You." I couldn't really pull that off very well.
I can't believe my mom and dad asked you to play that.
Yeah, I know. The most requested song though was Waymaker.
Waymaker.
Yeah.
I
But-
kept hearing "How Great Thou Art." out of
Yeah,
my left
we
ear.
did that a little bit too. But my dad and his wife Esther came through almost the very end of the line, and he wanted to do "My Jesus, I Love Thee," and I totally botched it
For your dad.
for my dad.
You botched telling Jesus you love him for your dad.
Yes. So
Ben,
I took like verse 1 and verse 3 and meshed them up together and didn't even get that
That
right.
is a
so
good
Dad,
way.
if you are listening and watching,
he's
I
going to close the show.
sincerely apologize. And I know what you're thinking. These young people just don't sing the hymns anymore.
Well, we
I'm
do.
sorry.
We actually do. around
We
here.
do. Just haven't done that one for a while.
So
But anyway, that was fun.
yesterday,
Yeah.
our conversation was around what do we do with the show going forward. And by the way, we really started the week out praying, Lord, what's your plan? And we've been praying all week. We actually brought you guys into our prayer yesterday. We got
Yeah.
lots of good advice, and we're working on some big breaking news on this show, but we can't
Huge.
reveal it
It's
today.
huge.
It's huge. It's the biggest, hugest breaking news this show's ever had. So we're going to talk about that, and then tomorrow's show, Ben.
Yeah.
What are we looking for from people tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow, we want you to be thinking about this, dreaming about it overnight. What is your best quarantine advice?
Best quarantine advice. We think some of the
Best
best
quarantine
quarantine advice is Pedro and Jess are going to do a TikTok, and you're going to wear a dew cap. That's some of the best quarantine advice I have received.
That was a really bad bargain, but I'm looking forward to seeing the TikTok.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
you might not be getting the
Yeah.
short end of the stick on that one.
Maybe not. Maybe
Okay,
not.
but so a few days ago we gave away the winner of the giveaway
Yes.
was a lady in North Carolina, Gail
Gray.
Gail
Gail Gray.
Gray in North Carolina said she was taking KFC to people in the nursing home.
An ardent fan of the show.
An ardent fan from North Carolina. We're big in North Carolina. We got the president of the university system. We got Gail Gray. Well, anyways, we wanted to show you some pictures. They actually they won the giveaway, and this is what they did. They took the KFC to the nursing homes, and that is such a cool
That was a winner worthy of the prize.
That was a winner worthy of the prize. So anyways, now, just real quick, we got JB coming with good news.
Good news with JB.
But you know, when you stay home with your kids, it can be a little challenging, right?
Yeah.
So this guy was given options on quarantine. I want you to watch this quick video.
Because of coronavirus, you are going to be quarantined, but you have a choice. Do you A, quarantine with your wife and child, or B?
B.
That guy's funny.
Yes, he is. B. I wonder what option B was.
Option A is this. B.
Yeah.
I think B was being eaten by a rhinoceros.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
It was wearing a Ducat.
if you are in the world and you ever turn the TV on, here's what you know. A lot of bad news.
A lot of bad news.
A lot of
Saw
bad news.
some more this morning.
Saw some bad news this morning. Actually, you know, this is some tough news. But we have hired a staff member on this show who has one single, simple goal. Good news. Jonathan, best news of the day. Give it to us right now. Good news with JB.
Here we go. Chesapeake, Virginia.
I've been there.
It's up around Norfolk. Cameron Crockett is an HVAC technician there who got his stimulus check, but he wanted to help somebody who was struggling.
Good.
And so he posted on Facebook asking for people to contact him if they had lost their job.
Yep.
He got about 50 people who responded. He picked a random dad who has lost his job trying to care for his young daughter, and Cameron just gave the whole check away to this guy that he didn't even know. Great job, Cameron.
You're the man, run.
Crockett.
All right.
Cameron McDonald's. You like Happy Meals?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, here's what McDonald's is doing.
Hey, by the way, you want to know what a real Happy Meal is?
What's that?
It's when you eat the meal, driving down the road, and you reach in the bag, and there's 2 more fries.
Yes, I love
That's
that
a Happy
feeling.
Meal right
I
there.
love that feeling. Well,
I stole that from Tim Hawkins.
Yeah. Yesterday, McDonald's began serving not Happy Meals, thank you meals to first responders, healthcare workers, police officers. And so for 2 weeks, if you're one of those people, you can go to McDonald's and instead of a toy in your box like the troll doll or whatever, you'll get a thank you note from Mickey D's. So I thought that was great.
Way to go, McDonald's.
Now listen. This is a very popular show, and I found out somebody's trying to rip off our show.
No.
Right? John Krasinski, right?
I thought you were gonna say John Chris.
No, well, not him. John Krasinski, the guy from The Office, right? He's got his
Yes.
own show. He's doing Some Good News. Now, I don't think it's as good as our show, right?
I've actually seen it, and it's pretty good.
Okay,
John,
it can't
could
beat
we get
this.
John Krasinski
Hey,
on
that
this
would be
show?
cool. That
you
would
know
be
what?
cool.
I want to tell you something. We need to set him straight because he has some good news. We have
The good news. But here's what they did. Earlier, he hosted on his show a group of healthcare professionals from Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center in Boston.
Yeah,
All right?
yeah.
Then, who shows up on the show but the Boston Red Sox legend David Ortiz?
David?
Is that what do they
Big
call
Papi?
him? Yeah.
Big Papi.
Yeah. So here's what Big Papi did for these people.
Yep.
He gave those workers Red Sox tickets for life.
What?
All right, so you're a Cubs fan, right?
I am,
They need
yeah.
to step up because that's a really big
I'm
deal.
a big
That's
Cincinnati
good news.
Reds fan because the Reds, the Reds, I love the Red Sox.
what?
I don't know what the OX is for, but I love the Red Sox.
There you,
Reds.
there you go. There
Reds,
you go.
go Reds.
All right, hey, I like Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
I want
You're
to give
my
you.
Chick-fil-A.
I want to give you another reason to like them too. In
Okay.
fact, let me give you 10.8 million reasons to like them.
Okay, just make it in quick.
Yeah, all right. They established a fund, $10.8 million. They're going to distribute that across the country to help with the relief effort.
Wow. Way
Great
to go,
job,
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Recovery numbers, 730,000 for today.
JB.
Jonathan, when we get to
going
728,000, JB's going in the lake. What's the number today?
700, and you would used to say. Yeah, we'll be right back.
So, anyways, we are grateful for JB. Jonathan, thank you
Yes.
for being here today. Good news
The
with
man.
JB. The best news.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, you need to come back because we need to do a giveaway.
We got to do a giveaway, but before we do the giveaway, JB, come in here. You'll know this. Come on in here. So, have you guys watching the IHC online?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's like, man, that escalated quickly.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, man, that was awesome. That's awesome. I've been watching some of that, and from not believing in TV to being the TV. That's pretty good.
That's it.
No, anyways, this is some great people over doing some great work, and I'm really excited for all that they're doing. All right, JB, let's go give some. What are we giving away today, Ben?
Yeah, so we're giving away a $50 gift card to Food Lion.
$50 gift card.
Along
to Food
with the
Lion.
mug as the one that, not that very one, but identical to
You know
it.
what Mugle is?
Yeah, stop doing the foreign language, bro.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
So we asked you to nominate your healthcare hero and tell us why they deserve to be a healthcare hero. And I guess just to clarify again, all healthcare professionals and medical people deserve to be called heroes, especially during this time.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so it's hard to narrow it down to one who deserves this giveaway, but we needed to do that. So
Yeah.
JB, have you done your job?
I have.
All right.
I have. So Pam Hyder has a daughter who is an OR nurse at Carilion in Roanoke. And, she's just been doing a great job working there. When people come in, obviously their families can't. And so her daughter's been very intentional about working with these people, encouraging
You
them.
know what?
And so,
I met Pam Hyder and prayed with her.
yeah.
last
My
night.
wife and I
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
So I think her daughter would be a great recipient for all of the great work that
Do you
she's
know her
doing.
daughter's name?
Yeah, I do.
Nicole.
Nicole, yes.
Pam Hyder's daughter, Nicole, is the
Yep,
winner.
Nicole Wells.
Is our healthcare hero
There you go.
on Thursday.
Congratulations, Nicole.
Congratulations.
So John Weems, a quadriplegic, lives in Hardy, Virginia. Is a great musician, and he put this video together. Watch this video. We'll be right back.
We face the challenges at hand. Sometimes it feels like we may never get through it all. A shadow's cast across the land, and we must now answer the call. We are all in this together. There's no storm that we can't weather. All the world's a little better when we show we care. With our hearts and minds united, we are strong enough to fight it. We're not really so divided with the love we share. And when we're stumbling in the dark, searching for answers as we're trying to find our aim, the heroes all provide a spark that soon becomes a glorious flame. We are all in this together. There's no storm that we can't weather. All the world's a little better when we show we care. With our hearts and minds united, we are strong enough to fight it. We're not really so divided with the love we share. And people who put their lives on the line right now, making the sacrifices to help somehow. We turn our gaze to you when the day is done, 'cause you inspire us all to carry on. We are all in this together. There's no storm that we can't weather. All the world's a little better when we show we care. With our hearts and minds united, we are strong enough to fight it. We're not really so divided with the love we share. Oh, the love we share.
Great job, John. Man, that was beautiful.
We ought to have him on the show.
We'd like to get John Weems on the show, so we'll work on that.
Yeah. That'd be
Big
great.
plans tomorrow to talk about the future of the show. And this has been another great show. We had Dr. Bill Roper on today. If you didn't get to see that, go back and look at that interview. This has been another great EastLake Live. Listen, here's the deal. We're going to get through this. The church is being strong. The church all across America is being strong. Pastors and church leaders are doing all kinds of creative and innovative things to keep the church moving. The church needs to lead in these moments. A.W. Tozer said, a scared world needs a fearless church. And by the grace of God, we're going to be that. And we're going to get through this together one day at a time, loving, serving, knowing the Lord, and by helping our neighbor. Jesus said, upon those two things hang all the law and the prophets. And so be encouraged today. We're Christians. We'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. for another EastLake Live.